This is part 2 of a project that I have agreed to work with 丰正杰under a 2 year period where we will come up with 3 exhibitions and projects. So the first one was in Bangkok, Thailand in April this year, where we did sort of a semi-retrospective exhibition featuring his old works up to his China portrait series. So when I was discussing with him these 3 projects, we thought that the second project, which is here right now in Beijing, we have to completely revamp or reinvent how people look at his work, the perception of how people anticipate Feng Zhengjie's signature, which is, most of us would know that it's always about portraits, right? So in the meantime, I think during the process when I was working with him, I felt he was also pretty affected by the death of his parents, which was last year. And then slowly, and during this process, which began actually last October, like 1 year ago, he eventually gave, his wife or his family eventually gave birth to a little baby, and so there was birth at the same time. Because so we thought maybe we could do something. Through some of the themes or subject matters that he always think about during this period, about birth and death, and maybe come up with something. Come up with a personal, more like a personalized approach to the significance and meaning of life and death. So through that, we talk about it. He said, "Okay, let him think about it," and then he worked on this since March this year, so it was more like 6 months preparation. Slowly, bit by bit, actually like this was done already. Then this painting came up. Then the idea for this sculpture, this installation, and so bits by bits, certain things formed. I mean, even the big painting was only realized or only thought about it last month.
Oh, really?
So because he kept constantly thinking and it was in May this year that we came into the space here, because I told him every time when I curate a project, hopefully I could make use of the space to see how we can work together to let the space have its own life. When the artworks were put into the space, how the space and the artworks sort of simulate each other in terms of presentation, in terms of concept. So we walk, and he was walking the space by himself. I was walking the space. We came together, we talked, and then he kind of came up with a sketch, right? Then we sort of went through it, we discussed, and we finally sort of came up with a rough plan about how we want the space to be transformed, so that the work itself has a sort of like a very foggy, 就是有一种like kind of foggy 就是蒙的一种 blur 一种的，对，好像没有这么清楚的一种的气氛气候，一种的 atmosphere， 就是好像也是很空很 like very pure, very pristine, very very sort of like when you walk into it, you feel like you are in another atmosphere, And especially the work itself, signifies or connotes there's a certain connotation about spiritual well-being, about personal well-being, the idea of life, the idea of death, the idea of flower, blooming, withering.
Yeah.
So there's this sense of the cycle of life, you see. So, and I think this is how I approach with him about this project. Yeah.
Will you cooperate with him in the future?
I can't. Yes. We have the third one. 就是有3个计划嘛，所以这个是第二个，是第二个现在开幕了，就我跟郑杰就可以轻松一下，这样对一个阶段，这样第3个还没开始好好的想，不过这第3个就会去国外一个国家，不过这个国家我还暂时不能宣布。就是另一个计划，有可能还没想到是会是做一个新的，是完全一个新的展览，还是一个可以有一些这些作品，还有一些另加了一些新的一种概念混合在一起，这个还没好好的去想。 我们要享受今天的开幕先吧。